Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Poking Holes channel. Today I want to talk about depersonalization and derealization. It's a form of dissociation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut to some previous video that I did. I think I did about a week ago at the most. It was when I was first coming out of my depersonalization, derealization episode. So I just wanted to share the information that I learned about myself through that whole episode, which was nearly, I think, it lasted about 3 months. There was a big stressor involved that started it. And then because I wanted to stop being so reactive, I want this to stop. I want, to be able to move on with my life. So I started researching a whole bunch and I started reading about how to uncover memories that were lost, dissociated memories. So I was really trying to push for that. And so I started writing about, like the partial memories that I have and journaling. And I think that just pushed me over the edge. Like I triggered myself even more until my brain just shut down. It just said, look, this is enough. You need to rest, basically. So I'm just going to cut to the recording that I did before, and I may pop in and out just to add a little bit here and there. And you'll see that I'm hiding my face in this video that I recorded where I was talking about depersonalization, derealization. You'll also notice that my speaking is slower. It's not as slow as it was in the video where I was dissociating on camera, but I was still not back to myself. This was also the beginning of me coming out of that dissociative episode. When I first come out of that state, I can't sleep. I go from being in bed to not being able to sleep. I come out of that dissociative state and then I have insomnia. This particular night, I ended up just staying up all night and waiting, to get my son out for breakfast and get him ready for school and take him to school. And then I slept for a couple hours while he was at school. That's how it is in the beginning when I'm first coming out of that. And I also usually have a whole bunch of energy, like a burst of energy, and I'll start cleaning. Not like insanely, like all of a sudden the house is spick and span, but I'm able to do a bit more than usual. Here's that other video then. I'll play that now. And I just want to see if you can see a difference. Anyhow, thanks. And here we go. Hi everyone. In this video I want to talk about depersonalization and derealization. Depersonalization and derealization are a type of dissociation. I realized that when I go away for a long period of time from making videos and basically from my life, I believe that as part of my CPTSD, I have depersonalization disorder. So if you look at Wikipedia, the definition of depersonalization disorder, it's also known as depersonalization derealization disorder, and you'll also hear people calling it DPDR. When I found this definition, it really hit home with me that this is what I've been experiencing. Depersonalization is described as feeling disconnected or detached from oneself. Individuals experiencing depersonalization may report feeling as if they are an outside observer of their own thoughts or body, and often report feeling a loss of control over their thoughts or actions. In some cases, individuals may be unable to accept their reflection as their own, or they may have an out-of-body experience. And I do experience those feelings, feeling disconnected, feeling detached from myself, especially detached from my feelings. I've been noticing that when I look at myself in the mirror, sometimes I look weird to myself. Like I try to figure out what it is about my reflection that I see that I'm not. It just doesn't look like me. Something's off. And just earlier tonight, I was looking at my hands and they looked really fat. Like they looked bigger than my hands. I didn't say anything at the time to my husband, but because I was asking him if they looked weird. And then I realized after that is one of the symptoms as well, is you feel like your body, parts don't belong to you. I have that symptom. Derealization is described as detachment from one's surroundings. Individuals experiencing derealization may report perceiving the world around them as foggy, dreamlike, or surreal, or visually distorted. And I do have that as well. I've described it in a couple of my videos before, where I feel like I'm looking, like my eyes get really blurry, but it's not just like, it's not like my vision. It's like I'm looking at the world through a dirty window screen or like a dirty lens. And another thing that is part of this that I just thought about that is really, really a big part of it is feeling really aware of yourself, of your thoughts, of your actions, and just like you're an observer, and that is your main job, is to observe this person. I want to describe it as being almost annoying how aware you become of your own thoughts. It's not totally a bad thing, because I will say that having this PTSD episode that I've been having, I think since my dad died is when it began, because that's also when the devaluation started, which led to the discard. So, I was going through all of that, but losing my dad really was a big thing, a big stressor in my life, the biggest, yet sort of thing. And besides this thing with my mother, that was another big stressor, which has only caused my mental health to, get even worse. But at the same time, I've never been more aware and more willing to look at my behavior, more willing to really, really be accountable. In addition to these depersonalization, derealization disorder symptoms, the inner turmoil created by the disorder can result in depression, self-harm, low self-esteem, panic attacks, phobias, etc. It can also cause a variety of physical symptoms, including chest pain, blurry vision, visual snow, nausea, and the sensation of pins and needles in one's arms and legs. And I do get the sensation of pins and needles, mostly in my legs. And I do feel nauseous also from time to time. But I've also mentioned, I also am going through perimenopause. When a woman is going through perimenopause, there's wild fluctuations in the hormones. And that's one of the things that can also cause this disorder. So not only can it be caused by PTSD, by extreme stress, but it can also be caused by fluctuations in hormones. And so I think part of what I was going through before, this was happening to me monthly, on a monthly basis. And it seemed, like I said, it seemed to be following my cycle. I think that every month, as I would go through my cycle, I was going through periods of depersonalization, derealization, and like long periods of just being dissociated. And like right now, I'm feeling dizzy. Like I have a dizzy, like, it's hard to describe. Like earlier, I was feeling it too. Like I was vacuuming, and it felt like the house was moving, or like the floor was moving. It's part of that. I'm glad that I've figured this out. I knew that I had the blurry vision, but when I really looked into it more, it's really opened my eyes to what, I've really been going through and what I've been experiencing. So another thing that I found that I thought was really interesting is because when I did another video before about the key developmental arrests that we may be missing because of what we experienced growing up with narcissistic parents. And this article actually lists the developmental arrests or cognitive disruptions that this disorder is typically associated with, which I found very interesting. And that is perceptual and attentional processes. Depersonalization, derealization disorder is thought to be caused largely by interpersonal trauma such as childhood abuse. Triggers may include significant stress, also cannabis or hallucinogen use can also trigger it. It is unclear whether genetics plays a role. However, there are many neurochemical and hormonal changes in individuals with depersonalization disorder. All perception involves signals that go through the nervous system, which in turn result from physical or chemical stimulation of the sensory system. For example, vision involves light striking the retina of the eye, smell is mediated by odor molecules, and hearing involves pressure waves. So this is interesting to me because it helps me to understand better what kind of things are happening in my brain, or what kind of things happened in my brain, which is causing this now. And the fact that smell and the senses are included in this is very interesting to me, because I've been finding that aromatherapy, using essential oils for when I'm having anxiety, I find that it does help with my mood. So that's very interesting to me. Attention is the other cognitive process that is affected. So that includes, selectively concentrating on discrete aspect of information, whether deemed subjective or objective, while ignoring other perceivable information. So, being able to focus your attention. Vocalizations, concentration of consciousness are of its essence. That tells me, in a way, that being one of the key developmental arrests, because dissociation is like you're not paying attention, you're like totally going away when you dissociate. So I was having problems with school, and I had to drop out of school because I could not focus, I couldn't concentrate, and because I was, having this anxiety all the time and just always hyper vigilant. So then I would dissociate, and, the depersonalization, derealization would kick in. And I really have a hard time with anything that has to do with researching, or even just writing out notes and writing out a script and just organizing and doing that kind of stuff. I get to a certain point and it's just like, I just can't. And it's hard for me to do it. That bothers me because that's what I do. I'm good at that kind of thing. And the fact that I just can't do it is really, it bothers me. So diagnostic criteria for DPDR disorder include, among other symptoms, persistent or recurrent feelings of detachment from one's mental or bodily processes or from one's surroundings. A diagnosis is made when the dissociation is persistent and interferes with the social and or occupational functions of daily life. So I just wanted to talk to you about that. Okay, so that's that, everybody. I hope that was helpful. I'll follow up with a text video, like one of my videos that shows all the notes and things that I talked about. Like, I'll break it down so that it's easier to understand, and I'll do a voiceover for it. But I just thought that it's really interesting because I think that this DPDR, depersonalization, derealization, is actually a big part of anxiety and CPTSD. And it seems like, like a lot of people who do get anxiety do have some form or some symptoms of depersonalization, derealization. So I just wanted to get the info out there just in case you were wondering why you're experiencing certain things. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Please give this video a like if you liked it. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you recognized yourself in this explanation of the symptoms of DPDR, and I look forward to sharing with you more. Thanks a lot. Bye.